Welcome back to Holistic Developer. I'm hoping you're having an amazing season. We are getting closer to Christmas, to New Year, which are my favorite holidays, and today I'm getting ready to go to our company Christmas party. Matter of fact, I have to leave in about 20 minutes, so hopefully I'll be able to wrap up this video in 10 minutes. So while I was getting ready to go to the Christmas party, I was thinking, brainstorming, let's say, what is the next topic that makes most sense to talk to you about? And I was like, okay, what did I talk about in the last video? In the last video, I talked about my success story, right? I shared with you defining moments in my life that set me on my path to success. And then I was like, okay, then there are things that we do. Sometimes we realize that we do them. Sometimes we don't realize that we are doing them. But there are things that we do that actually are in our way of being successful. There are success killers. So here is a list that I compiled of what I believe we should stop doing as software developers. So at the very top of the list is comparing yourself to somebody else. I mentioned that before in the previous video. Don't ever compare yourself with somebody else. You never know what they went through. You never know how much time they had to apply to something. So don't compare yourself to anybody else. And really quickly, I will share a quote by Einstein that says, "Everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, that fish will believe that it's stupid its entire life." So take my advice, don't judge and don't compare yourself with anybody else. The next one is perfectionism. Yeah, sometimes perfectionism, it might be actually a bad thing, because sometimes you say, hey, it's not perfect, I need to work more, and you might get into this state that you'll never actually do anything. So in my case, in my team, I had one person who constantly was refactoring the code, and every time it was better and better and better. It's true, but we were compressed on time. We needed to deliver the project as soon as possible, and having somebody who was needing to refactor the code to make it even better, even faster, I was like, oh my god. As a team lead, it was for me challenging to say to somebody like, you have to stop. He had the best intentions to actually have the product better, but there are certain ways that when you have to stop, and also there are certain times when you just need to start on something. Don't wait for something to be perfect. So if I were to give you an example, recently in one of the books that I read, I don't remember which book it was, at the university, a professor had a class divided into two. So his, let's say, A group was supposed to submit 100 pictures throughout the year, and the B group was to submit only one picture. Both groups will be evaluated based on the picture they're submitting. And when it got to the end of the project, at the end of the year, I was surprised to hear that the people who submitted 100 pictures got the best picture. So that group had the best pictures from the entire class. And the reason is that they actually practiced. They saw how the light is falling, they saw how to put something in. So the story there is that even you know the theory, you know everything, if you're not practicing, you'll never be perfect. You'll never be at that level of perfectionism that you might want. Versus that group that were supposed to submit only one picture, yes, they were not slacking off the entire year. They actually were studying, looking, I'll do this, planning everything, right? But because they never actually applied it into practice, they never saw where they have to do adjustments. So you are getting better, you're getting closer to being perfect when you're actually doing. So don't try to be perfect. Do the best you can, given the circumstances, and learn from the scenarios that you see. You see the results, and next time try to do it even better. And that's the result to being better and better every single time. Next is procrastination. Procrastinating. And I fall prey to that a lot of times. And the secret there is actually to understand the reason you're procrastinating. It's not because you're lazy. No, at least in my case, The reason that I'm procrastinating from time to time is actually I'm afraid of failing, afraid of facing what I know and what I don't know, afraid that I won't be good enough, and so on. So, the secret there is actually to understand why you are procrastinating. And once you know why, you should come up with a plan and determine what needs to be done in order to stop doing that. Next one is having an enormous task list. You might think that, oh, the more I do, the better it will be. And it's not always true. Sometimes you might be spread yourself so thin that you won't be able to do a good job on everything that you have to do. So in this case, it's okay to say no. You have to learn to say no. So it's better to do just a few tasks, but do them well, rather than doing a lot of them and all being done mediocre, if that makes sense. Next one is to not rush taking a decision. Sometimes we are under pressure as software developers and we need to make a decision what to do and what technology to use or something like that. But there are moments when you have to take a step back, think outside of the box in order to take the best decision. Sometimes, if the situation permits, to actually sleep on it and determine what's the best course of actions, right? So sometimes you don't have to rush into taking some decisions. In some cases, the answer might come to you. Also, the next one is it's okay to not know the answer. You're not supposed to know everything. You're not hired as a know-it-all. It's okay that you're not knowing something. So just say that I don't know. If somebody asks you, how long will it take to implement feature A, Z, and B, like how long it will take for you to develop that method or class, right? You should say, I don't know, let me look into it and I'll get back to you. Or if somebody asks you, what's the difference between, let's say, abstract class or interface? I don't know what will be the reason when somebody will ask you that at work, but a question that somebody might ask you and you'll say, I don't know, let me get back to you. I'll research it and I'll tell you, right? I had an example like this, and it was not exactly this, but a few days ago, one of my colleagues come to me and is like, do you know if we can do that? And there's like, even though I was the expert, the subject matter expert for that module, I don't know everything off the top of my head, and especially if I didn't work in that area for a long period of time, I might forget. And I was like, okay, give me half an hour to look into the documentation or look into the code and I'll get back to you. So it's okay not to know the answer right away. It's okay to say, I don't know, and I'll get back to you. Next is getting comfortable. As software development people, we might be comfortable. We get, actually, not only software developers, anybody can get comfortable. They get a job, they feel secure, they have a steady income and all that stuff, everything great, and they just, it's like, why would I put more effort into getting a promotion or something like that? I'm good where I am. I'm getting paid really well. So yeah, don't get comfortable, because from 5 or 10 years from now, you might be thinking like, why didn't I do that? Why did I stay where I stayed? Why didn't I try to grow? So don't get comfortable. Next one, I believe it's really important, is not sharing the information you know or not being helpful, because you might think that, okay, I will be the sole person that knows this. I'll be the expert. The people will come to me because I know this, and it will be job security for me. But that's kind of really not true. It's the opposite. The more you share, the better it will be. The more you share, you're actually opening new opportunities to yourself. You understand where are your gaps. You're helping somebody else to grow. And while they're growing, you are growing as well. You're opening yourself a door to new opportunities. Maybe promotions, maybe different projects that you might haven't considered because you were all focused on the thing that you are expert now. So yeah, make sure that you are not keeping the knowledge just for yourself. If somebody is coming for help, make sure to help them. Another one that is really important is to make mistakes and not learning from it. It's okay to make mistakes. We all make mistakes and we grow and we get experience by making mistakes and learning from them. So If you ever make mistakes, make sure that you understand what happened and you learn the lesson from the mistakes. And next time, when you are in a similar situation, you are applying what you learned and you are avoiding the mistake. The last one, really important one, is stopping learning. As software developers, you cannot say, I'm going to university for 3 4 years, I graduate, I have a degree, I'm a computer scientist, a software engineer, and I'm good for life. I get a job and software engineer, I'll develop code for the rest of my life, I'm good. That's not true, because technology that is hot and cool today might be long forgotten technology of tomorrow. So you have to constantly learn something. You have to constantly learn software engineering. You have to learn skills, principles, best practices. You have to grow. And it's not only that you have to learn about how to program. That's not the only thing, because as a software engineer, you're not only writing code, but you're also implementing and solving real world problems. So you have to be able to understand the environment you are in, the industry that you're in. So in my case, I work in a manufacturing industry. So in order for me to write the best code possible, I need to be able and understand what is the practice in the industry. I have to have the business knowledge in order to implement the solution that is needed. So make sure that you're not stopping learning, and let me know if this video was useful. I'm also curious to hear if there are any things that you believe that we have some habits that are our success killers. So if you feel like it, leave it in the comment below and I'll be reading them. So until next time, I'm wishing you happy engineering. Bye bye.